Hello, it's Thursday, April the 21st. We've been looking at Revelation 21 this week, and also the first 5 verses of chapter 22. And John is describing the new heavens and new earth, and he's been using apocalyptic imagery to depict that. He's depicted it as a temple, and he's depicted it as a city, but he also depicts it as a new world which God will create for his glory. Revelation rarely records direct speech from God. I am making everything new, God says to John. Old things will pass away, and behold, all things will become new. And I understand this in the sense of a restoration back to Eden, to the garden, the beautiful garden with the tree of life. And that's the goal of redemption. There is no more sea. And when John says this in this chapter, he doesn't mean, I think, that there will be no oceans in the new heaven and new earth. He doesn't mean that there'll be no whales or dolphins or saltwater fish in the new heavens and new earth. I fully expect to see all of those things. The sea was the cauldron that was outside in the courtyard of the temple that was there for purification rituals. And he may mean that he's using temple imagery, so that there will be no need for purification. It's also possible that in Jewish language, the sea was always a place of malevolence, Leviathan and so on, the great sea monster. The Jews were not a seafaring people, and lots of psalms use the sea as depicting something that's dark and foreboding, and maybe John is using that kind of language here. This is a place, in verse 6, the most amazing deliverance of God's people by the one who is Alpha and Omega. The last thing he does before he hands over the bride to her son is to lift the to his son is to lift the veil and wipe away the last tear. There'll be no tears in the new heavens and new earth. Notice in chapter 22 and verse 2, the tree of life. And it's as though the Bible has reached full circle. It begins with Eden and the tree of life, and it ends with the restored Eden, the new heavens and new earth, and the tree of life. And again, in verse 5 of chapter 22, there'll be no more light. I don't think we're meant to take that literally, as though there will be no sun or moon in the new heavens and new earth, and some different source of light. I think John is using apocalyptic language, saying that if we belong to his kingdom, we may have a clear vision of the Lord Jesus forever and ever. The bride eyes, not her garment, but her dear bridegroom's face. I will not gaze at glory, but on my King of grace. Not at the crown he gifteth, but on his pierced hand. The Lamb is all the glory of Emmanuel's land. That was Samuel Rutherford's depiction of the new heavens and new earth. Well, read this chapter over and over and see in it the goal of redemption, and it's a beautiful one. We'll look at the last chapter, chapter 22, from verse 6 onwards next week, but for now, have a wonderful day.